and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Decisions are made here at the U.S. Supreme Court that affect you and all Arizonans. For coverage and analysis, stay with Arizona Horizon on Arizona PBS.
Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Arizona PBS provides you great musical performances all year long. And now we have some of the best seats for you to see some of your favorite acts live and in concert. Arizona PBS Box Office presents a backstage pass for you to meet world-class performers and offers a chance to see exciting performances before they sell out. This month, Arizona PBS Box Office presents Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, returning to the Mesa Arts Center, March 29th and 30th.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
By the year 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Before Professor Halden, I had an insane amount of passion, but I almost felt helpless because I didn't know how to use it. Professor Halden gave me a chance to make a difference. Being at a place like ASU allows you to take these big leaps. Ultimately, the biggest problems in the world cannot be solved alone.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Hospice of the Valley, a not-for-profit community hospice for patients nearing end of life and support for their families. HOV.org.
Deanne Griebel, now with Moores & Cabot Investments, serving investors since 1890, proudly supports quality programming on 8 Arizona PBS, 480-725-9602.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Will texting and driving soon be banned across Arizona? Lawmakers and families of victims speak out about the proposal to keep phones down and eyes up.
Plus, the longest ever government shutdown continues with no apparent end in sight. How it's affecting the nation's opinion of our president.
And Arizona's governor ends a multiple-year-long argument over whether DACA recipients should be allowed to get driver's licenses. We take a look at the new policy for Dreamers.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Taylor Rocha.
And I'm Bobby Kraus. Thank you for joining us. Arizona Senator Kate Brophy-McGee introduced a bill this week that would ban texting and driving across the state. The proposed bill would make using a cell phone while driving a primary offense.
Currently, 43 states have a primary ban against text messaging for all drivers. 4 states, including Arizona, Florida, Nebraska, and Ohio, have secondary laws in place against texting while driving.
Meanwhile, Missouri and Ohio have a primary ban in place for younger drivers. However, the state of Montana has no law at all restricting the use of cell phones while driving.
Earlier this week, a report from the Advocates for Highway and Auto Safety ranked Arizona amongst the worst states for driver safety. Our state only has 4 laws in place regarding driver safety. Cronkite News reporter Amani Stevens is live in downtown Phoenix with more on their proposal to ban texting and driving in Arizona.
In an effort to get Arizona drivers' hands off their phones and on the wheel, State Senator Kate Brophy-McGee introduced Senate Bill 1165 to prevent all Arizona drivers, regardless of age, from distracted driving.
People getting killed and more stories coming out and more people getting killed in stories, it's all too often.
Add to that another story, the memory of Salt River Police Officer Clayton Townsend, who was struck by a distracted driver earlier this month. After more than a decade of attempts, Arizona lawmakers are demanding a change.
This is the DUI issue of our times.
State Senator McGee introduced SB 65. Not too long ago, a bill on texting while driving was introduced by former Democratic State Senator Farley. But McGee says her bill is different.
Farley's related to texting. This is really more a hands-free prohibition, because in that way you don't have to get in the face of the motorist and try and figure out if they were or weren't texting. They're either driving with their hands on the wheel looking at the road or they're not.
And to change the behavior, Oro Valley Police Chief Daniel Sharp, whose jurisdiction has adopted an ordinance on hands-free driving.
It's not about writing tickets or generating revenue or targeting any one individual group. This is about changing driving behavior and making our roadways safer.
Throughout the state, 21 municipalities have some form of law on distracted driving, and lawmakers say it's a statewide concern.
We need one uniform law that covers every municipality across the state so we can be safer.
And like Officer Townsend, Lyons, who was struck by a distracted driver while bicycling, says these incidents are preventable with strong legislation.
I can't relate. I didn't lose my life. I didn't lose a loved one. I lived through this. I now have a level of responsibility to utilize my voice when people like Officer Townsend no longer have one.
The bill has been assigned to the Transportation and Public Safety Committee, but it has not been heard. Live in downtown Phoenix, Imani Stevens, Cronkite News.
Now we want to hear from you. What kind of impact do you think a texting and driving ban would have on Arizona drivers? Just go to our Cronkite News Facebook page to weigh in. You can also follow us on Twitter and find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Today, the Senate failed to advance two different proposals to reopen the government. One that would have provided $5.7 billion to fund President Trump's border wall, and another that would not have provided that funding. With no clear consensus between Republicans and Democrats on how to end the shutdown, the president's approval rating continues to drop. According to a CNN average of national surveys, Trump's approval rating in December before the shutdown was 41%. Now in January, it's at 37%. The burden of working with no pay is overwhelming for federal workers all over the country. Hawaii Senator Mazie Hirono accused President Trump of using federal workers as a political pawn.
The president is amoral. He makes no difference between right or wrong, and he doesn't care.
Sanders criticized Democrats' unwillingness to meet with the president.
It's not supporting the president's proposal. It actually is the very thing that they've said that they want to see happen for a long time on a number of fronts. The president's the only one in this process that's actually trying to help people that Democrats claim they care about.
Tomorrow, some 800,000 federal workers will miss a second paycheck if the government shutdown isn't resolved.
As the government shutdown pushes into its second month, the House of Representatives has passed a bill to temporarily open up the Department of Homeland Security. But until the government shutdown ends completely, President Trump has put his State of the Union address on pause. Trump tweeted a statement last night saying, quote, "I will do the address when the shutdown is over. I am not looking for an alternative venue." Trump goes on to say later in the tweet he is looking forward to giving his speech in the near future. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi released a statement this morning in response to Trump's tweets.
Thank you for recognizing that it's inappropriate to have a State of the Union address, where people are working hard, very hard, to protect all of us in that room and not getting paid for it.
There is no official word from Trump or Pelosi on where President Trump will be making his speech, since Pelosi and House Democrats say he's unwelcome on the House of Representatives floor until the shutdown ends.
Some TSA officers who haven't been getting paid during the shutdown have started turning in their resignations, while others are living in their cars. This photo of a Hawaii-based TSA officer has been circulating on the internet. Living in a parking lot has become his new normal, as he can no longer afford to commute to and from work. His van has become his house, and he returns home just once a week to see his family. Cronkite News reporter Bayan Wang joins us live now with how local businesses are doing their part to support TSA agents in need.
The Mesa-based restaurant group Kind Hospitality has pledged to donate over 3,000 meals to TSA workers at Sky Harbor and Phoenix Mesa Gateway airports. At Sky Harbor Airport, Panera Bread, Paradise Bakery, and NYPD Pizza will deliver free meals to TSA workers over the course of the next 6 weeks if the shutdown continues. Today, TSA employees in Terminals 2 through 4 received several boxes of pizza for lunch. Kind Hospitality began their initiative last week and have fed over 1,000 TSA workers so far.
I think it's an honor and privilege to take care of those that are taking care of us. I think it's the opportunity to give back to those that are giving to us on a daily basis.
Right now, there are about 30,000 TSA agents working across the nation without pay, according to an agency spokesman. Wait times at Sky Harbor reached about 18 minutes during the screening process yesterday, but the agency says that time frame is normal. In Phoenix, Bayan Mueng, Cronkite News.
For years, the state of Arizona has not allowed certain DACA recipients to obtain a driver's license, but that changed late yesterday. Cronkite News reporter Austin Westfall is live in the Cronkite News Media Center with how Governor Doug Ducey pivoted on the issue.
The Arizona Department of Transportation confirms that anybody with a federally issued employment authorization can now get their hands on a driver's license in the state. And some of the community are saying that that's long overdue.
We've been fighting in courts regarding licenses for deferred action recipients since 2012.
That fight coming to end Wednesday as Governor Doug Ducey gave up trying to appeal a 2018 ruling by a U.S. District Court judge requiring the state of Arizona to issue licenses to everyone the federal government has allowed to stay in the United States legally. Local activist and former Dreamer Dulce Matuz has advocated for DACA recipients to get their licenses and says this is a win for the DACA community.
Governor Doug Ducey unfortunately prolonged the discrimination here in the state of Arizona by allowing the executive order that Jan Brewer issued in 2012. Now, this is a step in the right direction.
Phoenix immigration attorney Ezekiel Hernandez says the announcement was made quietly and without much fanfare, but still praises Governor Ducey's decision.
Politically, I think it is damaging in some circles, but in reality, what we need is more actions like this. And you know, under the administration of the current governor, I think something like this is very good.
For Matuz, the change will now allow many DACA recipients to do something most people take for granted.
Like being able to drive to school, to work, to the doctor's appointment. And I think this is going to be an opportunity for these individuals to continue with their future and to be able to progress.
The state's legal battle against issuing DACA recipients' driver's license has cost the taxpayers thousands of dollars. In the Media Center, Austin Westfall, Cronkite News.
Another policy fight continues to churn on the question of citizenship, literally. A Trump administration plan to ask people about their citizenship status on the 2020 census faces stiff opposition from advocates who worry it will stop people from answering the census. It also has local officials across the country concerned, as Alyssa Klink reports from our Washington bureau.
The census is a federal form with real impact on state and local governments, since the result affects funding on a range of programs. That's why officials from across the country were debating the issue at a U.S. Conference of Mayors meeting here today, including Mesa Mayor John Giles, a Republican who moderated a panel on the topic. A Trump administration plan to include a question about citizenship on the 2020 census could soon end up before the Supreme Court, but Mesa Mayor John Giles has already made up his mind on the issue.
The idea of adding a citizenship to the question to the census is just stupid.
The Census Bureau announced last year that it would include the citizenship question for the first time in 70 years. It was in response to a request from the Justice Department, which said it needs that data for voting rights cases. That's just common sense to Ira Melman at the Federation for American Immigration Reform.
There's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't collect some hard data on the number of non-citizens who are living in the country.
But critics like Giles say the question could scare undocumented immigrants away from filling out their census form. In Mesa, Latinos made up just over 27% of the population in 2018.
It's critical to Mesa, it's critical to Arizona that we have a very accurate census account.
Critical because census numbers are used to determine everything from congressional representation to federal funding. Giles said the question could be especially problematic in a border state like Arizona. Melman said it makes no sense that people would be scared off by the citizenship question, the last one on the census questionnaire.
Somehow we are supposed to believe that an an anonymous question, a question on an anonymous form is somehow going to scare people from responding to the census form. I mean, it's absolutely absurd.
Giles says he hopes that people will fill out the form, but that it's only one part of a much larger issue.
The need for comprehensive immigration reform.
A federal court in New York ruled last week that the Census Bureau cannot ask the citizenship question, but the Justice Department on Tuesday said it will ask the High Court to take up the issue. In Washington, Alyssa Klink, Cronkite News.
Right now, thousands of veterans are lining up at the Arizona State Fairgrounds to take advantage of the Maricopa County Stand Down event, providing free care to vets at risk of homelessness. But with more and more veterans showing up each year, the event has had to make some changes in order to keep up with the high demand. Cronkite News reporter Nicole Hernandez spoke with a veteran who has attended the event for several years.
Barbers, judges, and doctors, just a few of the things these veterans from the Valley are lining up for.
I've suffered from a lot of different things, but one of them is PTSD. I was a POW, and so this is a safe zone really for me.
The event, run by the Arizona Housing Coalition, started 18 years ago, serving just a couple hundred veterans. Now, thousands of people register over the course of the 2 days.
It's one of the things I look forward to. It's like, for me, it's like the 4th of July.
According to the Maricopa Association of Governments, the total number of unsheltered homeless people has steadily increased over the years. But for veterans attending the Stand Down event, it's a different story.
When we first started about 18 years ago, there were about 80% of the people who showed up did not have a place to live, and about 20% were in housing. Over the years, that's flipped.
Because of the veterans' changing needs and large attendance, Stand Down has made some recent changes. The event no longer offers overnight stays, donated shoes or clothes, and it's become more than just a place to get help.
It's a good time. It's not only a time to take care of problems, but it's a time to fellowship and a good, safe time for me. Some of these guys I don't see but once a year, and that's here.
Most of the services are available to veterans year-round, but many of them have trouble getting to them on a regular basis. In Phoenix, Nicole Hernandez, Cronkite News.
The event continues tomorrow starting at 7 a.m. and running until 4:30 p.m.
It's a hand-on approach to learning, and it could be the next big thing in the world of education.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how using virtual reality in schools is helping some students get a better grasp on real-life skills.
Plus, Sun Devil Stadium is going green. We look at the new sustainability efforts in store for the home of Sun Devil football.
Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
A big win and big money were involved in last night's Phoenix City Council meeting. The council voted 6-2 in favor of renovating the Talking Stick Resort Arena. The arena will undergo reconstruction in its infrastructure, as well as receive improvements in technology and comfort. Members of the project anticipate the 27-year-old structure will be finished by 2021. The estimated price tag on this project is around $230 million. The city has agreed to pay $150 million funded through tourism taxes, while the Suns will pay the remaining $80 million and any additional expenses.
In an effort to keep the home of the maroon and gold green, Arizona State University is focusing its sustainability initiative on Sun Devil Stadium. The renovation of Sun Devil Stadium is nearing completion. One major focus of the renovation is for the stadium to become a zero-waste venue. In order to achieve this zero-waste goal, ASU increased the amount of recycling and composting bins available to fans.
This is the only place we've been able to successfully implement composting. Composting is really complicated because it can't be contaminated, so plastic bottle can't get into it. So we have to educate heavily on making sure that waste is disposed of properly, and then we have to sort on the back end to make sure that there's corrections being done. So the stadium is where we trial and error lots of things. That's a huge, huge component for us in terms of seeing what's successful and seeing what's not successful.
One Valley school is celebrating National School Choice Week by giving their students a new perspective on learning. Claire Kelly went to Gateway Academy to check it out.
Changing the headlights.
Students at Gateway Academy are learning how to build cars, check out items at a store, and even cook in their new virtual reality lab. The K-12 school caters to those on the autism spectrum.
That it's surprising. Maybe on the screen it doesn't look super realistic, but it can scare you at sometimes how realistic it is.
Research shows kids who learn with virtual reality can retain almost 90% of the information. Gateway's principal, Robin Sweet, believes this is the next big thing in education.
Virtual reality is really cutting edge in the education industry, and we're always a research-based school, so we want to incorporate lots of different tools and strategies and learning modalities for our students.
A lot of our students are very visual. They depend on the ability to be able to interact with things hands-on at the same time, so it's working all of those different parts of their brain. Whether or not they're actually hooked up to the headset or not, or just watching, because we do have the TV to kind of facilitate incorporating everybody else into it.
And more importantly, the students enjoy using it.
It's really hands-on and really fun and entertaining, so, you know, it's a fun way to do class.
Principal Sweet says they wanted to open the lab during School Choice Week to celebrate the choice and scholarships her students receive from the state. In Phoenix, Claire Kelly, Cronkite News.
Gateway Academy will be using VR in different classes like science, math, and even languages.
As the crisis in their home country deepens, Venezuelans in Arizona are speaking out.
Next on Cronkite News, we talk to Venezuelans in the Valley to hear their thoughts on the country's new de facto president.
And right now we're sitting in the high 60s, but is there a chance of rain this week? I'll let you know coming up in your 7-day forecast.
With wildfires, a scarcity of water, and other environmental issues facing the Earth today, it's critical to stay up to date with local impacts of a changing climate. That's why we created Elemental, Covering Sustainability, a multimedia collaboration between public television and radio stations. From climate change to water conservation to renewable energy and much more, Elemental covers the latest in sustainability news. Find our stories on our website, elementalreports.com.
Stay in the know on the go. At Cronkite News, we work hard to report the facts and keep you updated, whether we're on set or on the scene.
Taking it from the studio to the field. So I'm here in South Phoenix.
In Phoenix, we're just a click away. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Venezuelans in Arizona are showing support for the transition of power in their home country.
Cronkite News reporter Walter Panate met up with some of them in Tempe.
People gathered at Tempe Beach Park last night. They sang the Venezuelan national anthem and shared stories about how difficult it is to make ends meet in the country. Juan Guaido declared himself president yesterday. This comes just weeks after President Nicolas Maduro began his second term in office. Guaido says he wants to turn the government around and help people get health care and food. Jose Ferrero came to the U.S. in 2000 on a work visa. He understands the struggle that Venezuelans experience daily.
I want to see like what we're seeing right now, like hope in the face of the people. Like people think that there's a tomorrow they can live in Venezuela. They don't have to emigrate to any other country. They can stay in the country.
Jacqueline Baste is also hopeful about a transition in the government. She's a mother of 3 boys and moved to the Phoenix area 6 months ago. She believes Guaido is the answer to changing the economic hardships people face in the country.
And for us, Juan Guaido resulted. I call him a miracle.
Shortly after the swearing-in, President Donald Trump recognized Juan Guaido as the official president of Venezuela. In Tempe, Walter Panate, Cronkite News.
A state lawmaker wants New Mexico to join Arizona in refusing to recognize daylight savings time. They're proposing a bill that would exempt New Mexico from a federal law requiring the observance of annual time change, aimed at preserving energy and giving residents more sunlight. The Democrat behind the bill wants New Mexico to stick to Mountain Standard Time all year, beginning in 2020. So we want to hear from you now. How do you think Arizonans feel about not participating in daylight savings? It's the best, I don't like it, or let's join California. So far, over 200 of you have voted in our live interactive poll. Just go to our Cronkite News Twitter page to join the conversation. Along with not participating in daylight savings, our weather is also something other states might love to copy.
Oh yes, we've been sitting in the 70s all week long. Mia, can you tell us if we can expect any changes?
So guys, we are going to be steady in the 70s for the whole week. And yeah, it's crazy, right? So let me go ahead and tell you what the state temps look like today. So right now in Yuma, we're sitting at 70 degrees, which is only 2 degrees higher than right here in Phoenix. Yep, you see right here on this big bright weather map. And then up there, kind of near, I believe that is Window Rock, we are at 41 degrees, so it's pretty low. And then moving on to our evening planner, at 6 p.m. we're going to be sitting at 65 degrees. At 10 p.m. we're going to drop 10 degrees to 55 degrees, so it's a little chilly. Moving on to your 7-day forecast, Friday it's going to be partly cloudy, Saturday it's going to be sunny, and then moving on to next Thursday, we're going to see a little bit of clouds in the high 70s. From Cronkite News Weather Center, I'm Mia Gomez.
Bringing the snow to Phoenix.
Students at the Foundation for Blind Children took a break from the classroom to experience a winter wonderland in the desert. For some of them, it's the first time they've ever even touched snow. Their priceless reactions coming up.
As sure as night is dark and day is light, I keep you on my mind both day and night.
The song came from my mother's fear. You know, you're going out on the road and these girls are coming up and to you, and he wrote, I walk the line. I'm gonna stay true to you.
I keep a close watch on this heart of mine.
Without seeing it, it can be hard to explain what snow is.
So students at the Foundation for the Blind were able to experience it firsthand today. Photojournalist Sammy Giebers takes us there.
We're at the Foundation for Blind Children today, and it's just special because they provide these experiences for these kids that they don't get to experience every day.
Is this your first time?
Yes.
Most of these kids are in preschool, so they've never been around snow before. This is the first time they've ever touched snow, first time they've ever tasted snow, first time they've ever sledded. So these are new, brand new experiences that they've never had before. So blind kids can't learn incidentally. They can't look around them and learn. 2, 3. They have to be purposefully and intentionally taught. So we have to give them every experience we can. We can't teach them what white is, right? But we can teach them what snow is, and snow is white. So now they can associate white with snow, and they can make that connection.
Well, being able to see him in interaction with his friends, and it's something that I didn't picture for him when he was born. So it's cool to see him experience things that typical kids get to experience.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
If you're looking for one show that tells you what happened that day in the world of business, it's NPR.
We saw a classic shipwreck.
Nordstrom's opening stores.
Triple-digit gains.
Crude climbs.
We're there to help our audience find new investment ideas.
The market still has room to go up.
Nightly Business Report is the longest-running business television program in history.
Weeknights at 10:30 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University. Sign up now for the brand new Arizona PBS Family Membership. For just $10 a month, receive special VIP admission to the Arizona PBS Kids Festival for exclusive photo opportunities with your favorite PBS Kids characters. Plus, you'll have access to private meet and greets with PBS characters throughout the year, and we'll even celebrate your child's birthday on our Kids channel. Our family memberships also include monthly benefits such as PBS Passport, our exclusive streaming library. For more information and to join, visit azpbs.org/family. Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World. Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today. Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Next time on Father Brown.
He's invited me to his welcome home party.
An old vaudeville friend.
Uncle Mirth. Uncle Mirth?
Holds a deadly gathering.
We're trapped. Don't suppose you know the way out of here, do you?
After 2 murders, Father Brown is up next.
You'll be killed by your own curiosity.
And he'll need a little help from his friends.
He might be in danger. He will be when I get my hands on him.
Father Brown.
Saturday night at 7 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Friendship Village Tempe, a retirement community for over 30 years, offers independent living with residency options, lifelong learning classes, as well as continuing care. Information at friendshipvillageaz.com.
The implant and denture experts, with their digital technology, strive to give you a confident and natural smile with dentures on implants, featuring titanium posts as the roots of your dentures. Information and appointments at theimplantdentureexperts.com.
AJ's Fine Foods, offering gourmet appetizers, fine wines for entertaining, and decadent desserts for all your special occasions. Find 10 Valley locations at ajsfinefoods.com. AJ's, purveyors of fine